Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's Little Corner of the Internet, and we have a Star Wars The Black Series review coming your way. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars The Black Series Darth Maul, as we see him as a Sith Apprentice. So as we always do, let's go ahead and take a look at that packaging first, and I will say that this packaging is a little bit different than your typical Black Series packaging, so this is a little NECA style packaging in my opinion, but let's go ahead and bring it in and take a look at it. So right up top you have Star Wars Darth Maul. You've got that really cool artwork on the front. It is the 50th Lucasfilm anniversary Darth Maul Sith Apprentice. Has the warning down at the bottom, and then over here on the side, might be a little difficult to make out, but you do have some panels there showing some artwork. On the back you get your Lucasfilm, and then of course you get this really cool timeline. This is something that I enjoy on these 50th anniversary boxes, where you can kind of see down here 1971 Lucasfilm was founded, and then up through 2021 they gave us Solo. Yay. Anyway, you have all this information down here, and you do have the sad baby, and the sad baby this time around is sad because of Solo. And then down here at the bottom you've got Disney, Hasbro, all that other information, Darth Maul, Sith Apprentice, and then you've got that artwork, and then a little bit more artwork on the top, and a little bit more artwork on the bottom. And this looks pretty serious. I don't know if you can make it out, but it looks like bad things are happening right there. All right, so then you open it up, and then you have what we've come to recognize as that typical Black Series kind of package look. But over here, you get this insert, and you get this really cool artwork there. And then, of course, you do get a little story. I will hold this still so you can pause it and read it. All right. So that is it for the packaging, which I really enjoy on this. So let's go ahead and see what came inside that box. Behold, laid out here before you is everything that came inside that box. And it's not a lot, but it's okay. What we have is what counts. So this, of course, is your little sheet of warnings, because this is a Disney Hasbro-owned property. Great, thanks. I will heed all of those warnings. And then he does come with his dual lightsabers. Now, these are not exactly the same. They are slightly different, and we'll go ahead and we'll bring those in for the close-up, and you can see what I'm talking about. But we'll start with this lightsaber right over here and start with the hilt. So there is a pretty decent amount of detail on there. I mean, for something this size, it's not bad at all. And so you've got those little red buttons there. Bring it around to the back. Some painted detail there. Everything's nice and silver. And then you have this red lightsaber blade. All right, and then of course on the ends, now this is one of the areas where they're different. This is the connector, so the male connector, so you can put the two lightsabers together. And then if we bring the other lightsaber in, you can see, again, very similar but not exactly the same. So you do have those little red buttons over there, but you have this little stem right here, so you can actually differentiate, and this is accurate to the lightsabers that Darth Maul uses. So very cool little attention to detail there. And then this is the female port for the two lightsabers. So of course you can have him wielding them separately, or you can plug them in together and you can have him wielding them as that one really cool lightsaber. And this is how I like him. So yeah, I mean, that's it as far as the accessories go. So what we'll do now is we'll just bring in Mr. Darth Maul himself, take a nice look at him and get a nice close-up, and see if we can figure out why he's so angry. Here he is. This is the Zabrak Sith Apprentice we've all been waiting to see. This is the Black Series Darth Maul. So let's go ahead and bring him in for his close-up, and I do have a theory on why he's so angry. Let's take a close look here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure he has a toothache. I mean, this looks like maybe he doesn't practice the best dental hygiene. So that's my theory. He's just got a toothache, guys. And if we could get him to maybe some type of an oral hygienist or dentist to maybe fill some cavities, I think he'd be a lot better humanoid creature. No, probably not. Okay. Anyway, there is his head, and that's a cool face sculpt. And I do like all those horns, the detail there, and of course all of his markings, even his tiny little ears, even on the back here. Good attention to detail. Trying to keep him in focus, guys. Sorry if he goes out. Coming down to the chest. Again, I think fairly accurate representation for all of his markings. And then you come down to his kilt, whatever you want to call it. If there's an official term, please let me know. Sorry, guys. I just don't know exactly what to call this thing. So I'm just going to move those arms out of the way. And then let's go ahead and move that kilt out of the way, not to try to be obscene, but just to get a little more detail so you can see his cod piece up there or his crotch, and then the detail on those legs. So bringing those out. Coming down to those feet, he's got those nice shiny boots, so at least he keeps those polished. It's always a good sign. Got the buckles molded in there and some nice detail on the sides of the shoe. And here's the bottom, and he does have those little pegs, so you can use him on some figure display stands, which is nice. Coming around to the side, looking good there. Nice side profile, lean and mean and ready to do some damage. Looking up underneath, everything looks pretty good there. And then coming around to the back, good detail. Belt looks good, and then there's the rest of his kilt. Again, not trying to be obscene, but we'll just take a peek up under there so you can see there's even detail on those legs. Right there. And coming down, there are those boots. The backs of them look pretty good. So yeah, I think overall this is a really decent representation of Mr. Maul. So what we'll do now is go ahead and we'll take a look at his articulation. If I can get him to stand. Come on, buddy. Yeah, without the display stands, that is the one thing with these figures. There's a little bit of difficulty in standing them, but you can get there. Now, as far as the articulation goes, that head is on a ball joint, so you can get a little side to side, and you can get some up, you can get some down, and you can twist it around all Exorcist style if you choose to do so. And then you have this extra joint in the neck right here, so you can actually take that down, and you can have him doing, say what? Say what? One of those, if you want to do that. And down here at the shoulders, you have, of course, you can bring them out that far, and you do have just the tiniest bit of a butterfly joint on this guy, so you can get that shoulder back a little bit and then forward a little bit there, and then take them all the way around. Here at the elbows, you can get just over 90 degrees of bend, and then you do have bicep rotation right at that elbow, because that doesn't look awkward at all. And then down here at the hands, you have pretty much all you can ask for. You've got wrist rotation, and then you have wrist tilt, so you can bring those in a little bit. You can bring them out a little bit, and then the rest of the hands, you can. Now, you can't get any up and down on that guy. I thought for a second I felt it. But the rest of the hands, they're just kind of fixed in place, so they're lightsaber holdy hands. All right, and then here at the chest, this is where you get your waist rotation, so you could take him around all the way if you want, because, yeah, why not? He almost looks the same. Look at that. And you can lean him back, you can lean him forward, and do what you want to do there. Now, as far as the legs go, the kilt doesn't really get in the way, but he's not as flexible as you would expect a Sith Apprentice to be. These are not the splits, I would imagine, but it's enough to get the job done for some dynamic posing. And you can kick forward, get that leg down, put him right there, kick forward that far, and you can kick backward about that far. Ooh, it looks like he's doing a dance move right there, like he's Fred Astaire. And then you can thigh rotate him around all the way if you choose to do so. And then he does have double jointed knees, so get that leg up out of the way a little bit. You can get a little bit of that action going on. All right, then moving down to the feet. The feet, you can bring up that far, you can bring down that far, and then you do get tilt, so you can tilt him in that much. That looks like a broken ankle. I think he's going to need to see a doctor. And out that far, and then you can rotate the feet just a little bit on that joint as well. So as you rotate, you can do that. It looks like it hurts. All right, so there is details and articulation on Mr. Maul. Fix that foot, man. I feel a little ill. That's Mr. Maul with his details and articulation. So let's go ahead. We'll talk about those accessories next. I can't really speak for anybody else, but I do have to say that for me personally, the best part of The Phantom Menace was Darth Maul. That character, seeing him for the first time, seeing him wield those two lightsabers and just absolutely decimating a couple of Jedis. It's really cool. I know, rest in peace, Qui-Gon Jinn, but it was absolutely a great introduction for a character, and he's definitely become a large part of Star Wars canon because of that scene. And this captures it. He looks really cool here. I wish I were better at posing figures, because I know some of you out there could absolutely just put this guy in some awesome poses. So forgive me with my limited imagination here of putting this guy in a pose, but I just seeing him right here like this, he just looks awesome. So for a Black Series figure, I'm really impressed with this guy. I really like the look of him, and when you've got his accessories on like this, he just looks absolutely astounding. And of course, like we said, you can take those two lightsabers apart, you can have him dual wielding them, you can do pretty much whatever you can imagine with this guy. He's got the articulation necessary to do it, and he absolutely has the look to pull it off. So yeah, this guy looks really good. And although they were only although they were the only two accessories, I think they were, of course, not only appropriate, but the way they have this guy articulated, they just put him on another level. He's so iconic and just looks absolutely great here. So there he is, all accessorized up. And that's pretty much going to cover all the bases for Darth Maul. I mean, we've talked about the details, the articulation, the accessories. So what we'll do now is we'll just go ahead and we'll jump into some comparisons so you can see how this guy looks compared to some figures from some other universes. So moving right into our first comparison, here we see the Black Series Darth Maul on the left, and on the right is just a regular old 3.5-inch series Star Wars figure. So you can see the difference between these two guys and just what the Black Series brings to the table versus their normal figures. Moving right along to our next comparison, of course you have Darth Maul on the left, and on the right you have a Funko Pop version of the T-60 Power Armor from Fallout. No real rhyme or reason here why I brought this figure in. Just happened to be in Sid's room, and it was sitting next to his computer, and I thought it looked cool, so I grabbed it. For our next point of comparison, here we see the Wolverine from the Marvel Selects action figure line. And man, what a cool battle this would be. It would be interesting to see if lightsabers could get through adamantium for sure. I'm putting my money on Wolverine winning this one, though, just simply with his healing factor. I don't think Darth Maul is going to stand much of a chance there, but still, it would be cool to see. Bringing in our representative from the anime line, this is Namikaze Minato from Naruto. And yeah, these two guys actually size up pretty good together, so that's a cool scale. Well, I think by now you guys have figured out that this wouldn't be one of my reviews if I didn't bring in a Transformer of some type. So on the left we have the Black Series Darth Maul, and on the right we have the Transformers Red RED Optimus Primal. So this is the non-converting figure. I figured, Optimus Primal would be a good figure to bring in from the Transformers line, because much like Darth Maul, he has two swords that can become one. And, those are for hand-to-hand combat. Those are his primary weapons. So, yeah, I thought these guys might have a couple similarities there. And, yeah, it'd be a cool sword fight. I'd pay to watch it. For a final comparison, here we have a tale of two Darths. Of course, you have Darth Maul on the left in the Black Series, and on the right you have Darth Vader, as represented by SH Figuarts. So SH Figuarts is also another company that does highly detailed, articulated figures. So if this guy is a Volkswagen, this guy over here is the Audi or the BMW or the Mercedes, take your pick. So yeah, it's really cool to see these two guys together. They don't scale up exactly right, but yeah, I would fully expect Darth Vader would be a towering figure over most other humanoids out there. So I can almost get on board with this, but it's really cool to see a couple Darths standing side by side. I think Darth Maul is trying to tell me that the comparison segment is over and it's time to move on to the final thoughts. Alright, so final thoughts on Star Wars The Black Series Darth Maul Sith Apprentice figure. Yeah, he's cool. I think this is one of those figures that if you collect the Black Series, you're going to want him in your collection. I mean, this is it's an iconic character that's steeped in Star Wars canon at this point, not just from the movies, but so many comics, so many books, so many of the offshoot series that are out there. There's a lot of history with Darth Maul now, so he's definitely one of those characters that is as much ingrained in the Star Wars lore as almost anybody else. So yeah, to see him in this form in the Black Series, there was no doubt that this was one that we wanted to add to the collection. So kind of breaking this guy down a little bit, real briefly here, we'll talk about the overall aesthetics. Yeah, he's got it. I mean, this is a beautiful Black Series figure. There's really not much else that I would say as far as the overall looks for this guy. He's got a great shelf presence. He looks good. The lightsabers are detailed. They look good, the way he can hold them with all the articulation that he's got. So you can absolutely make this guy stand out on a shelf. So very, very high marks on aesthetics. Moving on to the articulation. Again, he's got it everywhere that it counts. About the only complaint that I have is I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of a split and a little bit more of a back kick on this guy, but you can pretty much get him everywhere else. Wish list would have been that if he could have had a little bit more elbow bend, if he could get a little bit deeper in that elbow right there, and if they could have given him a genuine bicep rotation and not like that weird rotation in the elbow joint itself. But for the most part, yeah, articulation works. It's really good on this guy, and you can get him in just about any pose you want. Moving on to the accessories. He's Darth Maul. What more do you want? What more does he really come with? You get those two iconic lightsabers, and they look good, and they connect together, and they come apart. And coupled with that articulation, you can get him in pretty much any pose that you're going to want to get him in. So those accessories are exactly what we would expect with a Darth Maul figure. So no complaints there whatsoever. Moving on to overall quality. Yeah, real high marks for quality on this guy. I don't have any issues with him. I don't have any paint defects. I don't have any molding defects. He came with the accessories that he was supposed to come with. They do what they're supposed to do. No big surprises there. The biggest issue that I have is I have just ever so slight of kind of a bend in the lightsaber blades. So they're not perfectly straight, but it's not something that I, that's a deal breaker. And it's also something that if you take a hairdryer or something, kind of warm them up and hold them in the right position, you could probably get them looking pretty good. So nothing that takes away from the figure. So overall quality is really high. And then for our last point, overall value. Yeah, we picked this guy up from Big Bad Toy Store for $28 US. It's a little higher than most Black Series figures, but you do get that really cool packaging with him, and you do get this Sith Apprentice look for Darth Maul. So I would much rather pay $28 for this Darth Maul with that packaging than I would, say, $21 or $22 for, I don't know, Maz Khalifa or whatever her name was, from what I don't even remember which movie at this point. So I think the value is there with him, just simply because he is an iconic character. So yeah, I think the overall value, I don't have any issues at all paying the $28 US for this guy. And I do have to say, apologies, I can't remember. Maz Kanata, I think is what her name was. It was the little lady with the big Coke bottle lenses on her eyes. I just can't, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry, guys. So feel free to correct me in those comments. But that's going to do it for the review for the Black Series Darth Maul Sith Apprentice. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got some good information out of it. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. So until we see you guys in the next review, take care.